TikTok compilation that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Oop, I know, left-handed.
Can I get a picture with you?
You turn around, it's easier.
Okay.
Thank you.
This 100% is Angelina Jolie. It looks just like her, but a bit older. She has always aged very well.
The deadliest creature on Earth lurks in the waters of this lake, polluted with nuclear waste. Lake Ladoga is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. In the 1960s, a massive nuclear power plant was built near the lake, operational for only 29 years before being shut down in the late 90s. They dumped all their waste into Lake Ladoga, making its waters extremely contaminated. Marshall Baker, a professional diver, wanted to explore the eerie depths of Lake Ladoga. He wore anti-radioactive scuba diving gear for safety. Within minutes, he spotted straying fish, some with extra fins due to radiation. After just 20 minutes, he encountered a horrifying sight, a giant mutated eel. Marshall recorded it on his GoPro but couldn't capture its size. As he went deeper, disaster struck. A 45-foot eel emerged, tearing him apart. Marshall's GoPro was eventually recovered from the lake, and amazingly, the footage is intact. The video is far too disturbing to show on TikTok, but I have linked it to this video. If you want to see it, which I advise against, then...
I'm sorry, but I'm watching this, and sounds like a B-rated horror movie about the Loch Ness Monster. And a GoPro? In the 1960s?
Okay, some breaking news. Travis Scott has just been arrested for disorderly intoxication, this sounds a bit familiar now, and trespassing in Miami. The only details that we have is that he was booked into a Miami jail at 4:30 in the morning, and what exactly went down, we don't know, and we also don't know whether he's been being released yet. But since it's just a couple of days since Justin Timberlake got arrested, put a little side-by-side for you guys together of this week's mugshots. What do we think? Which will become more iconic in the years to come?
Looks like Travis Scott is facing serious legal problems.
Neil is not unaware that you are never going to get your hearing in a peer-reviewed journal. Your ideas are going to come through. You're a self-taught autodidact polymath. You haven't been cleaned up. You haven't been taught how to speak properly. You don't know the fact that when you say lube, we know fixed point. I know how to do all this stuff, right? You're not getting a peer review from me. I know a lot more than you do about a lot of this stuff.
What?
You're getting an elite review. And my elite review says that a lot of this is bathwater, but a small amount of this is baby. And that's not available anywhere. It's not available in a university. It's not available in a journal. That's available on the Joe Rogan Experience. And you know, Neil's right. If what you want is peer review, you should go to a journal and they will laugh you out. They will take one look at your email address. And if it doesn't end in .edu, I promise you, you're not going to get hurt.
Do me a favor, Jamie. Can you pull out?
Let him finish.
Hold on, because
but let him finish because this is a sustained thought.
Let's go below where we.
Howard went from having one of the greatest careers for any actor alive to effectively being canceled, and now he's been revealed to be a big liar. Terrence Howard was War Machine in the first Iron Man movie, where he's paid 9 times as much as what Robert Downey Jr. was. Because they wouldn't increase his pay for Iron Man 2 because of Robert Downey Jr.'s $9.5 million pay increase, he quit the series entirely. He's been very bitter since to Robert Downey Jr. not talking to him and saying he owes him $100 million. Now Terrence Howard is also suing his agents over the show Empire, saying he wasn't paid enough money at $325,000 per episode. And Jim Parsons was paid 3 times as much money for Big Bang Theory despite similar ratings, and his agency intentionally ripped him off to make deals with the studio. Now it's revealed that Terrence Howard's whole life is a lie, where for years he's told people he had a PhD in chemical engineering from South Carolina State University, but it's been revealed he never even went there. He's also claiming to have wrote an entire thesis paper making the claim 1 × 1 = 2 and argue with academia over it. In reality, he studied chemical engineering at Pratt University but never finished his bachelor's degree. So yeah, he's freaking nuts, and with that, I'm Charles Pearl. Subscribe to learn something.
Okay, so him being unfairly underpaid is because he didn't go to South Carolina State?
This is the most beautiful building I have ever seen. It's called 1,000 Trees, and it's a mall that just opened up to the public in Shanghai's art district. I don't know if it's more stunning in the daytime or at nighttime when it is all lit up. It was designed in order to incorporate nature in an urban environment, and it does just that by bringing in over 1,000 trees and over 250,000 other plants, both inside and outside this 9-story structure. The architect who designed this is Thomas Heatherwicks, and this is just phase 1 of a 2-phase building. What's really cool is that because this is in the art district in an area where there's a lot of local and street artists, he dedicated the south side of the building to showcase local artists' work. The plants that were used to create this masterpiece considered the biodiversity of the area, and together it created its own cooler microclimate. So not only are these plants making the building more aesthetically pleasing, but it is also positively impacting the local ecology. I think that this is just one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and when I first saw this video, I honestly thought this was fake, but knowing that this is real, I feel that all future architecture should mirror this because it is amazing and so good for the environment. But as always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
Yep, I thought it was fake too. I thought it was an AI. It's real. It's magnificent. I Google it. Most people think China is all starving peasants because of, misinformations from the media. Chinese cities rival America's best cities.
It's absolutely bizarre to me that people aren't obsessed with their dreams. Your ego goes to sleep. All of the unconscious complexes come out to play. You have this chaos happening that is always happening, and now you get a peek into it. You get a full snapshot, a picture of your psychological state, a holistic perspective minus the ego, finally. If you understood truly what that meant, you would be obsessed with this stuff because they're the ones pulling the strings. These complexes are pulling the strings. Jung has this famous quote, like, if you don't become conscious of your unconscious, you'll call it fate. I butchered the quote, but whatever. And this is what he's talking about. This is why he was obsessed with dreams, is because it gives you a peek into your unconscious mind. I'm obsessed, and you should be as well.
There's an indigenous society in Asia, I cannot remember their name, that collective analyzes their dreams, each mornings and plots out their activities for the day based on those dreams.
At a time when the world is trying to shift to a 4-day work week, starting on Monday, Greece will become the first country to have a 6-day work week. Friday nights, but to get real quiet. Unions described this measure as barbaric, while the Prime Minister said it was necessary due to their shrinking population and shortage of skilled workers. And on that front, this is actually crazy because I didn't realize, but since their financial crisis, they have had an unprecedented exodus of around 500,000 mostly young, educated Greeks that have left the country. Now, staff in Greece will have the option of working an additional 2 hours a day, or one extra full 8-hour shift. But they will be compensated with a 40% added to their daily wage. So the question is this a terrible new measure, or would the consequences if it didn't pass be far worse?
If it's optional and compensated with extra 40% to their income, sure, why not? It'll be good for people who want to make more money.
28-year-old woman is on her way to meet a guy who she will recognize instantly, though she doesn't really know him. They used to be total strangers.
You have my brother's face.
In March of 2012, an incredible surgery was performed on 37-year-old Richard Norris. Norris had spent the last 15 years essentially living in hiding as a recluse due to the fact that his face shocked and disturbed the public. Norris had been involved in a pew-pew accident in 1997 that took away his upper and lower jaw, lips, and nose. All hope seemed to be lost for him until the family of 21-year-old Joshua Aversano was found. Joshua had been unalived in a tragic car accident, and his family had been approached by doctors working with Richard Norris to ask if they would be willing to donate their son's face to Norris, being that both of the men's faces originally somewhat resembled each other, and the family agreed. So in 2015, the sister of Joshua came face to face finally with the man who now wears her brother's face. And she reached up and kind of brushed his forehead and could only say, "Wow." Seconds later, she added, "This is the face that I grew up with."
His nose, his lips, his teeth, his jawbone, his hair, everything belonged to my brother.
How would you feel if you met someone who now had one of your relatives' faces? And what would you even say to them?
It's a wonderful gift, but I think it would freak me out. I cannot imagine how complex, the surgery must have been.
This a coincidence?
Oh, yuck.
Tree stump. Fingerprints. Tree branch. Human lungs. Leaf veins. Human veins. Tree of life. Human placenta. Grass. Human hair. Tree roots. Human veins. River network. Human veins. Tree roots. Human nervous system. Thorn plant.
Wow.
Human spine.
All I can say is praise and honor be to God Almighty. I'm going to make like a tree and leave. Cup of tea. All right, disclaimer, the following clip is disturbing.
Are they? They're not blue. Now, don't tell me that. Look at me a little closer. They're green. I fooled you. I fooled you. Do you talk about getting married and having a family and things like that? No, you don't? What do you do when you're 11 years old for a date? Where do you go? What are some things you do?
We just walk home from school with each other.
Oh, you walk home from school with each other. Okay, what category? Do you hand out kisses, Jennifer?
Oh, man.
You look like a young lady who likes to give lots of hugs and kisses out, do you? Hey? Hey?
Not really.
Not really. Not really. Can I have a hug and a kiss? I can't have one? Even if I say and whisper in your ear that Allison, you're gonna win the show, I still can't have a hug and a kiss? Well, I guess you can't win the show then. If I don't get a hug and a kiss.
I want to vomit. This is disturbing. My skin is crawling for real.
Secrets of how I make so much money. I study counties when they do their tax assessment. Every year or a couple of years, they reassess the value of the properties. That's how your taxes go up and down. With land, like for an acre in Wayne County, Pennsylvania, I got a note that they did their tax reassessment. So all the properties that cost $600 that were worth $4,000 are now worth $16,000 and $20,000. I went crazy. So I'll go to the auction, right? I ain't tell nobody. I just put a quick text the day before to the land bank team. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna shoot to this auction in Pennsylvania. Here's what it looked like. 20 people came. So we show up at the auction. I got a bag full of money. I was like, this is too good, bro. Like, these numbers are sick. We start in the auction. 600 properties. They running the properties off. And I'm talking to my assistant. I'm like, nobody's buying these? She's like, I'm like, all right, where's our page? So she turned to the page and she's like, all right, we want this, this, this. She's pointing them out. And I just started winning them like crazy. So I got 13 properties, all valued $20,000 or more. My net worth increased in one day, $260,000.
All right, so now you pay taxes on a $20,000 assessment for a property you purchased for $5,000. Let me know how you feel about this in the comment.
The provoker. This is the individual who lives to provoke a response from their prey. Typically, the provoker aims to evoke negative responses from their target. A negative response would validate them as they thrive whenever their prey appears to be disheveled, angry, distressed, sad, or depressed. As sadistic as it sounds, it is the harsh truth behind the provoker. With this envious person, you combat them simply by ignoring them. One exception to this rule: if you have the emotional and mental capacity for it, you counterbalance this provocative nature by giving them a positive response. This will frustrate the provoker as they only comprehend negative emotions and reactions. The positive approach should only be intentional. If you notice that someone is trying to trigger you in particular, giving a positive response is ideal because it will completely dismantle their approach and frustrate their scheme to agitate you. However, trivial situations such as competitiveness, mimicry, petty disagreements, arguments, and gossip should always be ignored. For these are situations where they are strategically trying to provoke a negative reaction out of you. Even if your response isn't negative, they may be dedicated to twisting circumstances until they trip you up. For the most part, the provoker's agenda is contingent upon a response. It is key to refuse to give them one. Individuals with this envious personality type are the type of people that will keep poking at you until they find your button. They'll either mimic what you say just to see if you react negatively, or if they know any information about you that is triggering for you. For example, let's say that you just had a breakup. If they know that information, they will purposefully and intentionally bring that up in conversations while you're around to trigger you. Now, there's two ways to deal with this type of individual. Number one is to ignore them. Do not give them a reaction. Peep what they're doing, but don't feed them a reaction. People like this get a thrill when you react to what they're doing. And I don't mean thrill like they're having fun. I mean thrill in like a very perverted way.
Wow.
Because their game is basically to just try and trigger you. So when you don't feed them that reaction that they're trying to get, that just fucks with their scheme. Number two, if you can handle it, if you are able to regulate yourself emotionally and you can handle this, whenever they try to provoke you, give them a positive response. Someone commented on my video the other day, and this is the perfect example on how to respond to them positively. This person commented, I had a coworker who used her whole presentation to attack my work ethics. Afterwards, I found her waiting by my desk for a response. I talked about how well her presentation skills were. She was shocked. This person's coworker was trying to provoke a negative response out of her. And after the presentation, the coworker even waited at her desk. That's how much these type of people need your reaction. Sorry, my light died. But out of those two ways, for me, the best way or the best response is to ignore them and to not give them any reaction or even a response at all. Because even if you have the emotional and mental capacity to give a positive response, just like it was mentioned in the book, they'll twist your words or twist it to get you tripped up, and then they'll make you look crazy. Next envious personality type we're going to go over in part 4 is the leech.
I understand. This type of people play psychological games, so we have to master ourselves.
Why are you offended by 1 times 1 equaling?
Just action and reaction. The universe, it's the separation of math from science when math was supposed to define physical things. There are no objects at rest because everything is sitting on something that's in motion.
The subatomic level.
That nothing's still because everything in the universe is connected. So if you have one still thing, then everything connected to it also
So, Terrence,
has to be still.
I understand what you're doing. A vacuum isn't a vacuum. It's roiling with activity. The void isn't a void. Stuff is happening. Virtual particles are coming in and out of existence. There is no vacuum. You're very much in tune with modern physics. If there is no vacuum, then there is nothing at rest because the vacuum is going to be in constant. Then you get to the point which is something that is rest, therefore is unphysical, therefore it is unnatural.
There is nothing in the universe that is at rest because everything is moving and communicating through vibration, and vibration requires oscillation, and oscillation requires motion.
We saw that. If I give you 1 apple 1 time, how many apples do you have?
This thing where all these pictures of Walt Disney World, his fingers are always like this. And that's because the rumor is that Disney went in to every single picture of Walt Disney and edited out him holding a cigarette.
Yeah.
And then you pointed out to me at Disney, all the cast members.
Wait. Whenever you're going down a hallway to direct them.
It's not a cigarette thing, though.
Why not?
Why do you wave like this?
What we're trained to do is they said
She did work for Disney too.
It's
So.
it's a cultural thing because this is offensive in some cultures. And so they said there are 2 options. You do this or you do this with a whole hand. I did do the Disney college classes, and one of my professors did say it had something to do with the cigarettes.
It has to. It absolutely has to.
What are you doing? Like a roundabout way to agree.
Because they're not going to say anything about it. Of course they're going to say
Because all these like really famous pictures of Walt Disney, like they're iconic pictures.
Yeah.
But he always had a cigarette.
Yeah, but it's not like he smoked cigarettes so much that he probably like died from them, right?
Did you not know?
No, that's too bad.
He got lung cancer.
Yeah.
He got lung cancer, which is sad.
It was a.
So I just found this out. If
It was
you
a chain smoker. I'm sorry.
go to Google Images and you type in 2024, it's all normal, just 2024, nothing crazy. You scroll back up, you put in 2025, and look what you see. Apocalypse, mask, lockdown, Armageddon, fighting, Earth exploding, all this crazy stuff. But then, when you scroll back up, you go to 2026, it's everything you'll see. It's just normalcy. 2026, no big deal. You know, nothing crazy is going on this year. But then when you go back to 2027, you'll see end of the world, shit's blowing up, everything's crazy and explosive, apocalypse, freaking all this crazy stuff. Or asteroid, you saw the asteroid. 2028 is where it gets weird for America, apparently. It's all about America ending and countdown to apocalypse and, you know, mass chaos and whatnot. And then, again, 29 is where it kicks off. Explosion, literally destruction, chaos. Should we worry? Shit's blowing up. Explosions, apocalypse. And now watch what 2030 is. Watch. Futuristic, AI, cities controlled by artificial intelligence, humans possibly controlled by them, United Nations stuff. What do they have planned for 20?
In the mountains in the middle of nowhere, and people love to comment when shit hits the fan that we're going to be the first people that they come after. But let me tell you how far in the middle of nowhere we live. We are about 12 miles from a main road. We're about an hour and a half from civilization, which means a McDonald's, Lowe's, Home Depot, anything like that. So if things were to go horribly wrong in this country, which I believe that they probably will, the only people who are going to be out here are the people who live out here. People are not going to be venturing. The government is not going to be venturing to the people in the farthest corners of the country anytime soon. The people in the cities, in the suburbs, and even in the partially rural areas are going to be the ones that will be hit first. You have to drive through desert and mountains just to get to us from civilization. So I feel like we're pretty safe where we are. Ain't nobody coming to get us out here.
If they want to take what's yours when things hit the fan, they will travel and not alone. Just saying.
35, and here is something that I do every single day for anti-aging and supporting youthful looking skin. Every single day I practice a gratitude practice. I make sure that I can find things that I can be grateful for every day. There is some evidence in some studies suggesting that gratitude not only can help to lower symptoms of anxiety and depression, but may also help to reduce inflammatory biomarkers in the body. Inflammation is a key driver in the skin aging process. So having a practice of gratitude every single day is important, in my opinion, for anti-aging.
Don't look a day over 10.
This is what I've been looking at in the Bible today. You know, Ephesians 6:12, one of Paul's letters to the Ephesians. He wrote a lot of letters, Paul. He done a lot of miracles. He got a lot done, but he still had time for correspondence. What excuse have we got for not getting down with our admin? I like this. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. What do you consider that to actually mean in terms of the global struggle, the geopolitical wars that spill across the world right now, the sense that there are corporate globalist forces corrupting and co-opting democracies and sovereign nations everywhere we look? How does what Paul writes to the Ephesians in 6:12 relate to what all of us feel, that our leaders have become corrupted, that there is a need for a significant spirit to infuse and empower us that we may oppose them? Let me know what you think about that. Dark powers and dark principalities, evil in the heavenly realm. Let me know what you think about that, please, because, you know, I've only been Christian a month. I'm still learning. Stay free.
Definitely look at the next verse too, about putting on the full armor of God. Paul gives an outline on how to protect from it.
I was part of the Ethiopian Zion Coptic Church, a church that believed in ganja as our sacrament and ganja as our guiding force. Starting in rural Jamaica in the poorest of parishes, Killarney Parish, we started out sleeping on dirt floors, eating just food that we could grow. And through the grace of God and the power of ganja, we were able to expand our kingdom and our church to eastern Jamaica, where we built a large kingdom, a large property.
Don't make mistake. The only way to heaven is Jesus. That's it. No ganja.
Okay, I don't even really know how to say this, but you will never believe who has just contacted me. NATO. Yes, the largest military alliance in the world, NATO. And they want me to go to Washington. What is even going on with life anymore? Like, I think that we might have just stepped into like a different reality back in like 2020, because every day I am flawed from which is what's going on. The question I'm asking is why? You know, they don't really include too much. They say that it's for their 75th annual summit and that all 32 world leaders are going to be there. That's Joe Biden, that's Rishi Sunak. And because of that, they're shutting shit down. It's a big deal. They're closing streets around the area. They're putting up anti-scale fences, screening vehicles. And then they'll just be little old me walking through there, no problem. Crazy. Not really sure why they invited me, but thankfully, they're not offering to pay me. So that's good. We don't want any riots in the comments. Oh, here's a little bit of a tough one. They say that I'm going to have to get a background check by the United States Secret Services. So, if that comes up okay, about to become the most vetted, News Daddy most vetted account on TikTok before GTA 6. Damn, that'll go crazy. Honestly, I don't know. If you guys want me to go, it would be pretty insane content. I am curious to see what this is all about. And I mean, okay, come on, Rishi Sunak. If you're going anyway, I might as well just like jump in, catch a lift, you know, carpool, jet pool. Never been on a private jet. I don't know, man.
I like Dylan. From getting verified to getting contacted by NATO, News Daddy came a long way.
Hello, you might have seen this video. One of you certainly sent it to me. Let's take a look.
Anything with the styrofoam in Costco, or even if you go to Publix or anything like that, you have to cook them past 145, which is medium going on to medium well. So you can't even eat these at medium rare because they're steel tenderized. And the thing with steel tenderization is there could just be cross-contamination with this, it's almost like blades that are going in to pre-tenderize this.
Yes, all of the steaks at Costco are blade tenderized. Not sort of like blades, they're literally blades. It's this big machine with all these knives, they run it through, it makes the steaks even more tender. So the idea is you as the customer has an even better experience with the meat at Costco. Also, yes, technically anything that's been blade tenderized has a risk where the bacteria has been taken from the surface of the steak and pushed through the middle of it. And so the USDA recommends you cook it to a safe temperature of 145, which is well past medium rare. Credit where credit is due. He knows what he's talking about. He definitely knows about internal temps of steak. If you've ever cooked one of these to medium rare, you probably didn't get sick. It's the same reason that you can eat steak carpaccio or steak tartare at a fancy restaurant. They probably just opened and cut these this morning, so the bacteria hasn't had a lot of time to form being pushed from the surface into the steak, right? So if you're buying them the same day they're being cut, and you're eating them that night, the chances that you'll get sick by cooking them to less than 145 are very, very low. The thing is, most grocery stores don't do this. This is pretty unique to Costco. Most places are not going to take prime ribeyes and run them through a blade tenderizer because you really don't need to. It's just unnecessary. So if they do, it will say it on the packet, but please don't freak out, okay?
Medium rare for me. If I die, I die.
Please watch this. No matter what the situation is, always be aware of your surroundings.
iPhone 14?
Because you never know who's keeping their eye on you to take what you got. Even if you think you're in the safest place, even if you think you're in the most secure place, always keep your eyes open. Keep your alert levels high. Keep your focus on point. Because you never know who's plotting on you, whether they be far away, whether they be in the bushes, or whether they be in the seat right next to you. This is the best way to live your life. This is the best rule and concepts to apply to your life. Unfortunately, we live in this dog-eat-dog world, right? So even if you stay out the way unbothered, you got somebody plotting on you. Whether you out there on the scene, out on the streets, you got somebody plotting on you. But whatever the situation is, whatever the scenario is, as long as you are prepared and aware, you're gonna be okay. But when you're not paying attention, that's when they catch you slipping. And make sure to follow me so you never get caught slipping again. Let's go.
I didn't expect to see a man hop out the bushes and steal someone's phone off the train. This is wild for real.
Did you always have equal amounts of these things? Oh, because you didn't see that they'd been paired in a helix. You just saw it once it was broken. But the actual nucleotides had been paired, and so they're always, the hydrogen bond enforced that. One was a double bond, one was a triple bond. This is like this. We're trying to figure out why lambda, we would understand better if it were zero, or we would understand better if it was enormous. The fact that it is almost zero in a world where the vacuum is filled with crazy stuff, to your point, this is one of the greatest reasons for, this is probably the greatest, I agree with Jim, this is the reason for supersymmetry. Without supersymmetry, we don't have an explanation for why that thing doesn't blow up.
When Eddie Murphy
This guy is a whole different level of intelligent.
was just 19 and the newest member of the Saturday Night Live crew, he was offered by Robin Williams and John Belushi to do some cocaina. This is what Eddie told them. I remember I was 19. I went to the Blues Bar, Murphy said, referring to the once iconic Manhattan establishment run by Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. It was me, Belushi, and Robin Williams. They start doing coke, and I was like, no, I'm cool. I wasn't taking some moral stance. I just wasn't interested in it. To not have the desire or the curiosity, I'd say that's providence. God was looking over me in that moment. Sadly, both those iconic actors are no longer with us, as John Belushi passed on March 5th, 1982 from a heroin overdose, and Robin died by suicide on August 11th, 2014. Eddie's story reminds me of one from last year, when Matthew Lawrence shared a troubling story about Robin, when he recalls running into his dressing room while on the set of Mrs. Doubtfire and finding him struggling to exist.
You'd see a guy that comes off the set like beaming with more energy than I've ever, and anybody has ever seen, and then I'd open the door, and this is what I'd get. It was so painful for him just to sit there and have quiet, and it was almost like a, yeah, hey, and so he explained to me what was going on, and the end of the explanation was, I don't care what doctors say or what doctors have told me, I know it did it to my brain, Matt. There were 5 years there where I lived on cocaine.
Right.
He said, After those 5 years of cocaine, even though I got off and I got clean, it chemically changed my brain. Yeah. And now I have to deal with this all day, every day. It's stolen my time with my kids, with my wife. It's stolen parts of my career. It's stolen part of my brain from me, and it's destroyed me. So hearing that from a guy that I admired like that, that's it. I wasn't doing that shit. I wasn't touching it.
There's a thin line between partying and addiction.
Why isn't anyone talking about this? Why didn't anyone notice this? I noticed it right off the bat. Did you see that? That big reptilian in the ocean? What? I was watching a video and they pointed out this serpent-looking thing, alligator yucky thing in the ocean. Okay, yeah, you've seen it. You've seen the videos. But did you notice where it is or what? I mean the waterway and where it was. And look. Rotler, Drake Passage, Drake, as in Draco. No, I don't mean the guy from Harry Potter, but I mean Draconian. There's a constellation called Draco the Dragon, but Draconian. No, these guys, reptilians. Constellation Draco, main systems, Alpha, Epsilon, and Sigma. Alpha Draconians, or Siakar. So what the heck is this? Is that just a coinkydink?
Now go a little further. Guess what year we are in? The year of the dragon.
Just had a guy comment and tell me to prove that Stephen Hawking was a fraud. Prove that he was legit. Please do it. He was supposedly discovering amazing scientific things, and there is not one single video of this guy ever being able to speak a single word. Are you kidding me right now? Not one video. I'm pretty sure a guy like that, being held in that high regard, the man of science, I have a video of him. He got a standing ovation for like 5 minutes. It was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen, okay? So please, there is not one single video of this man talking. He could never talk. He is a actual literal and physical puppet for the mainstream liars. So please, if you don't believe me, go ahead. Go, please. Be my guest. Try and find a video of him saying one single word. You can't. You won't, because it doesn't exist. He has never, ever been able to talk. On top of that, he had ALS, and he, well, allegedly, I don't believe he did, because he outlived everyone ever that's had ALS by many decades. Like, I think he outlived the longest ALS survivor by 30 years. So yeah, give me a break. Okay, I guess if you have a massive brain in your head, you can outlive ALS way longer than the life expectancy. Like, way 70 years longer. This guy is a sham. He is a total joke. I don't believe he had ALS. I believe he most likely had another type of syndrome. And I'm sorry, there's no way on earth he discovered anything. He could never talk. And you want to dispute this video? Please find a video of him speaking and send it to me, and I will back down from this. I will apologize publicly, and I will say, sorry, I misinformation. I'm a misinformation spreader. If you can find a video of him saying one single word, I will publicly come out and say that video is not true. I'll take the videos down and I will make an apology video, but you won't be able to find one because I searched every single internet browser. I looked through everything. There is nothing on him. Nothing. He is a total liar and a puppet for the mainstream liars. So have fun with that. If that's what you want to believe, go ahead. Helen Keller, are you out of your mind right now? She was deaf and blind, and she spoke, it was either 5 or 7 languages with a British accent. Are you out of your mind? Out of your mind. I'm sorry, man. My stepdaughter's deaf. That is not happening. You're not learning 7 languages and you don't speak with a British accent. She was deaf and blind. How does she know what a British accent sounds like? And again, I've posted videos of her speaking with a British accent. So please, don't tell me to prove it. Prove it. You prove it. Show me one single video of Stephen Hawking saying a single word. He's never said a single word. Give me a break. This is for your entertainment. Oh, and another thing. Someone said, I love how you say this is for your entertainment. Obviously, everything you say is fake. Obviously, you don't know how it works, bro. This is my 5th account in 3 months. Now I know the rules. I know how the rules are now. Because I apparently I had to learn the hard way. And in this world, the little game that we have to play, the legal little TikTok game, is you have to say it's for entertainment or the video gets removed and they take your profile down without warning you. That's what that's all about. If you didn't get the picture, I don't know what to tell you, my friend. Ay, ay, ay. Anyhow, it's a nice night today, huh? Beautiful day. I really wanted to take out the telescope for everybody, but yeah, I'm tired. So maybe not tonight. But I will go live with the telescope this week. So we'll check things out. We'll check out the North Star. We'll see how it never moves. We'll check out the moon. It'll be fun. Love you all. This is for your entertainment.
Let me know how you feel about this. Seriously, please drop a comment.
Going on in Egypt makes absolutely no sense. Egypt is one of the most mysterious places. I'm sure you all know what's going on there. Well, no one does really. Now, did you know how old Egypt actually is? Further back you go, the weirder it gets. And you've probably heard the thing about Cleopatra actually lived closer to us, you watching this video right now, than to when the pyramids were actually built. It is so flipping old that ancient Egyptians literally studied ancient Egypt. First of all, let's just go right back to pyramids in general. I'm sure most of you know there's not just the pyramids of Giza. You've got pyramids in Egypt, China, Japan, under the sea in certain places, even Antarctica. This is what's mental. So the pyramids in Giza obviously all line up to Orion. This is like a common fact. But then go over to Teotihuacan in Mexico. The pyramids there line up with Orion as well. Now again, going deeper, Great Pyramids of Giza are built on top of aquifers. Obviously this is all dried up now, but the same roots and that are all still there. We know that as a fact. So are the other pyramids. They're all built on these things. Now the pyramids is just scraping the surface of ancient Egypt. Look at the Sphinx. So on the front of the Sphinx, it has a sign, which is engraved saying, I have been here since the first time. Almost like everything is interconnected. But then you come to the engravings. You've probably seen lots of hieroglyphics and engravings inside the pyramids or other kind of native areas. Why, in ancient text from thousands of years ago, ancient engravings, are they depicting technology and UFOs essentially? Literal engravings of what looks like a light bulb or energy. And there is so much stuff. You literally can't even go into it, but if you dig more into it, it will completely shatter your world. Why so much talk about Nibiru, the Anunnaki? All of it links together. So either they were just incredibly, incredibly smart, or this was just like a fantasy to them, but it doesn't explain the pyramids or how those sort of things were constructed, or there's something way more going on in history.
Bro think the war is gonna end every day.
Can you believe that?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's the weirdest sunset ever.
I've never seen it do that.
It's like it looks like a Lego pieces.
It's just sitting in the water.
It's a layer of fog.
Are you kidding me?
It looks like a pyramid. The Earth is flat.
It looks fake.
Closer to, isn't it?
Whoa! When the weather's really dry, the glare goes away, and you can see like the circle of the sun.
Why is it just setting on the water?
It looks like it's digital.
Yeah, it looks digital. Okay.
It looks like
a Pac-Man or something.
Intergalactic
car.
Intergalactic. There it goes. Wow.
That's so weird.
Intergalactic. Planetary.
Oh, Richard's taking a picture.
Intergalactic.
Wait, no, it looks like a boat.
No one lose their
Wait,
car.
green flash, guys. We're gonna see it because it was so pink.
It's not clear enough.
Do you guys? The green flash exists, but it's only because when your eyes don't see that red, that orangey pink, it replaces it with the opposite on the color spectrum, which is green. That's why you see green flash.
I can see it happening right now.
Yeah, you'll see a green flash because it's gonna disappear and then you'll see a green flash.
That's so
You see the green?
weird. I don't see green.
I see it.
I don't see the
When you just stare at it for a moment.
I'm sure someone is going to tell us perfectly reasonable explanation that we don't understand. Alright, folks, I'm going to end our video with this coming clip. Be kind to each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do. There's a free gift below if you like, and if you want to buy me coffee or support me through Patreon, the links are also in the description below. Thank you for watching. Have a prosperous day, and God bless.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1000% believe in? I'll go first.
That if you take more than one trip to bring your groceries in, you and I'm not trying to be mean or rude as but that's some stuff. If you're not willing to cut the circulation of your arms off to take one trip, you